Live from New York, this is WIUR Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Booth Review on WIUR Radio. I'm Robbie Basil, joined as always by Chase Caridi. It is another gorgeous day out here in New Rochelle, and it's another nice day to be in the studio, despite it being very warm here in the studio and outside. The Mets are not heating up like we would want them to, but we'll talk about them later. So much to go over on this penultimate episode before the big Radiothon event next week, which will be on Thursday, not Friday, Thursday, April 23rd. Our show will be revealed next week. So you'll have to tune into the other shows to kind of figure out where we are. We'll probably be in the morning. So it'll be a little bit of a similar time, probably a little bit earlier in the morning. But you could follow the WIUR Instagram at WIUR_Gales Radio for the official schedule, which will come out sometime next week. But all throughout next week, we'll be announcing every show, which could be up to 19 different things, which is kind of crazy. But I know only thing we know is that shows are starting at 8 or 8:30 a.m., which is like kind of fire. I got to be honest with you, Chase. We possibly have some very special guests. We have some collaborations between shows. I know we have a World Cup show that's going to be at 9 a.m. That's going to be revealed on Monday. We have a couple other shows, Empire State of Sports. You know, you all love that show too. If you know, you know. They possibly have a very special guest. So more to come in terms of shows and more news to come out about that incredible day next week. Only thing I also know is that I'm going to be in here for 8 hours.
It's dedication from our president of WIUR Sports.
Yes.
Play the ad.
No.
Oh. But still, we are very appreciative of what you're doing, Robbie. And again, this is a great opportunity that you guys are going to be saying for the first time in a good amount of time, this Radiothon experience, as well as the draft night experience. So it's going to be a lot of fun, many different things that are going to be talked about across many different shows. I'm very excited to see, what special guests we might have around, what new collaborations we'll have between shows. It's going to be a really interesting experiment that we can hopefully continue to have more and more as these years go on here on WIUR, just trying to make it a bigger, more enjoyable experience for everyone.
It is going to be the first of hopefully many, more like a test run, of what this event could be like in the future. I know we would like our teams to not have to be in the middle of what feels like a test run in the baseball. I mean, the Islanders blew it, so that was fun. Or the Jets, who are going to blow the second pick next week. Speaking of the draft, draft watch along, pre-draft show 7 o'clock, mainstream 8 o'clock. The official lineup will be revealed on Tuesday. So if you are ready for chaos and me to be on here for 5 hours straight, and you're in the right place. I am not ready for that, though, Chase. I'm kind of nervous. But for all 32 picks, we're going to have our giant screen in here. The camera's going to be in some weird spot. We're going to figure it out.
All new tech. A lot of experimenting.
Obviously, the last time we did this, those who don't know, we were in the basement of La Penta Student Union. And we were watching it all on a scuffed laptop, which was not fun.
Doesn't sound like it.
But we were kind of like more listening to the audio parts of it, trying to see what was going on. One of my favorite moments was the Chiefs trading up for Xavier Worthy. That was a pretty interesting one. Cam Woolley and I, we were like, oh, we have a trade finally. And then they're like, no, boo. And then there's It was insane, but
it wasn't even the only time the Bills traded back their pick that year. But yeah,
was it actually not?
They traded back to the second round,
and then you got
to draft Keon Coleman.
Yes, sir.
Cookies. Yeah, we're ready for football.
Yeah, we're ready.
He's back. Joe Brady.
Yeah, so I think we're all ready. So you could comment down below who is your favorite NFL team, and how are they going to screw it up next week? Because I already know we're drafting like Ty Simpson.
Half the teams are going to say about taking Jeremiah Love.
The Titans will probably do it to save all of our misery.
It's going to be like the commies or something. Commanders.
He's projected to go fourth, mate.
Fourth.
Yeah.
Why do the Titans need him?
Yes.
Tony Pollard's not good enough. Guys, Tajay Spears, what are we doing?
Tajay Spears, no, but to get a generational talent like Jeremiah Love would be very useful for a team.
Well, they had a generational talent, and they got rid of him because they thought he was the problem. Similar to Mike Vrabel. Well, both Mike Vrabel and Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Well, no, I meant other players.
Keep
AJ Brown.
Oh, well, I mean, like, he kind of was the problem. Philly doesn't like him either.
Yeah, true.
Can we trade
our first round pick for him, please?
Ooh, the second overall pick?
No, the second first round pick we have.
When's that?
Like 12.
That's still a little high.
For
AJ Brown?
Can we trade our second
Who's
round
throwing
pick
him the ball? Gino?
A trash can?
Shoot. AJ Brown might bring Gino back to Seattle days.
I mean, trash can helped some people, throw a ball in the past.
Correct.
Maybe it can help the Jets.
Maybe. I mean, that team's hated now and sucks, but
But like for the couple of years they were good.
Yeah. They lost to the Nationals in the World Series. So, not exactly worked out for them perfectly. They beat the Yankees a couple of times, so that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, let's talk. No, what we can talk about the draft all day, but we're gonna save all of the draft talk for our incredible shows next week. But what we can talk about right now is on the topic of baseball. Today's mainly a baseball themed episode, as they have been in the last couple of weeks.
Spring for you.
Classic spring. Well, I want to talk about the World Cup, which is also next week. We are talking about that next week, and how I would love to talk about Kosovo. I can't do that yet. But we can talk about Iona baseball.
Mm-hmm.
They are right in the thick of it, as they should be, and they have one of the easiest schedules remaining. Your Gales are in the hunt for a playoff spot once again. After taking the 2 games that were played against Sacred Heart last weekend, they are right in the thick of it, 7th overall, a half game out of the final playoff spot with a series against a St. Peter's team that have been, in a word, underwhelming at hand. Chase, break it down for us. This is going to be a very important weekend, as every weekend will be for the remainder of the season for your Gales.
Yeah, we'll take you through the rest of the season kind of, because they do have a bit of a road stretch that we're not going to see them playing here over weekends. They do have a couple of midweek matchups that they'll have to handle as well. But when we're talking about the MAC opponents, like you said, it comes down first with that St. Peter series that starts today at 3. And they are, let's just put it plainly, one of the least talented and well-working teams in this conference. They are at a 0-15 in MAC play. I didn't think that was possible. Overall, 4-29.
You'd be impressed.
I mean, there were some poor records in this conference, but nevertheless, St. Peter's at the bottom of it, and it's definitely going to be a series that they need to capitalize. We saw in that last series that they played against Sacred Heart, they were able to win those first 2, and then in an LIU match that they did lose away, but getting back into action, I think it's going to be really important to getting back to what we saw the highs from a Malachi Costello, Rodriguez, Sean Stevenson hitting the first home run at home for the Iona Gales this season. Shout out Adam Pack and Chris Solaro on the call, I believe.
Yeah.
They did a
There's a whole
great job
story
with
behind that too, but we'll go into that in a second.
They did a great job with that. But yeah, just to quickly go through the rest of it, then they're home here for a Fordham game over next week. Then they go play Fairfield. That's probably the last big time challenge they have going on into this season. So it's going to be a 3-game set. They're going to have to deal with that. LaSalle again over the midweek. They get Canisius when they finally come back home here. Again, one of the bottom 4 teams in the MAC. So definitely a team that is going to be, one that you can't sleep on, but you're going to have to really capitalize on getting wins there. Then they got Yale. They go to Siena is their second to last series. And then they close out at home with a 3-game set against Manhattan. And listen, all these series are going to be just as important as the last. And I think they're coming off some good momentum, like I said, with those Sacred Heart matchups. That was a team that is definitely also in the thick of it, and they're going to continue to be a thorn in the side as we get closer and closer to conference and scoreboard watching as the season comes to a close. But overall, I like what we've seen with this team. The offense has really been alive currently, and the pitching that they can really rely on, guys like Callanan, guys like Pyoms, they've really shown out in those past couple of matchups. A little rocky from my own personal experience calling the matchup. Andrelis Pyoms pitching for the opener against Sacred Heart. It was a bit of a rocky start. You got to a high pitch count early and really had to fight through some tough, long at-bats full counts and was able to really, hunker down and do a good job getting his 5 innings through. And the rest of the way, we just saw the Iona offense really come alive, and it came off with a Malachi Costello walk-off hit.
You called that, by the way.
I did call that. If you want to give it a listen, it's on Mixler on demand. You could find that. But nevertheless, that was a really big moment for them, and I think that really can propel them to doing some really good stuff in the rest of conference play. And like you said, they are just out of potentially getting into that last spot, and a lot of fight between the teams in front of them: Merrimack, Mount St. Mary's, Niagara, Fairfield, Marist, and Ryder to top it off. And none of these teams are really flying high with strong streaks. The highest win streak we have is of 2 games, and that's Niagara. But a lot of 3-game losing sets for a couple of these clubs, about winning their last matchup, but having some poor games before that in their last couple. So again, this is a really important moment for a team like Iona to ride the hot hand, get some momentum when a lot of these teams are kind of teetering as we go to the end of the season.
I mean, there's a lot of teams last weekend that gained or lost a little bit of momentum. One of them that really caught my attention was Fairfield, taking on a Ryder Bronx team. They were able to capitalize a little bit, but not very much. They're going to be at most second if they get a sweep this coming weekend. Another team you want to watch out for, Merrimack. They had opportunities to really gain a ton of momentum. They were in Brookline last weekend playing fairly recently, playing Northeastern and Maine, 2 teams that even Northeastern who are really good. They just lost the Beanpot final to Boston College in a very competitive 3-1. But it's a Northeastern team that had a bunch of MLB draft picks last year, lost a lot of talent. Merrimack were up 8-1 in the 4th. Like, this could have been an opportunity for the Warriors to gain momentum, take the season series against the Northeastern team that's still very talented, but they just couldn't get it done. And that's going to be one thing you want to watch out for. Who can get it done down the stretch in these very high pressure moments? And a team for me that I think could do that does feel like Iona, but it's going to be like the one thing they struggled with Sacred Heart was it was the pitch count for Sean Davis in game 1. We witnessed that a little bit where he might have gone an out or 2 too long, and it almost costed Iona a very significant win. If that can maybe get cleaned up a tiny bit, I'm not saying this happens a lot with Iona, they could be a team that I think pushes for top 5. Niagara, Mount St. Mary's, they're not going to be teams that to take their foot off the gas. We've seen that all season. So I think if Iona can clean up a thing or two, I think they really can challenge a Merrimack, possibly a Mount St. Mary's. A Mount St. Mary's team that has 3 games more played in the league. If Iona can, get the sweep against St. Peter's, they'll be right in the thick of it, as they should be going down the stretch. And you can catch every home game, by the way, on WIUR Sports for the rest of the way. It was official this morning. Every game remaining at home at City Park, WIUR will have it.
Does the midweek matchup have a broadcasting crew yet, or are we just going to wait for that?
It is going to be official tomorrow. It is official tomorrow. I know one person that will be on it. That is Zion. Zion's coming back. A lot of games recently for Zion. He's done very well.
He's been very lucky.
He's been very, very lucky.
Walk off?
Oh, yeah.
I guess the other one wasn't that good.
Wait, did he do 2 walk-offs?
No, the other one they lost in extras.
So he did an extra inning game and a walk-off. He's
gotten a lot of solid stuff.
Yes. I mean, to be fair, this guy, throughout the course of the year, I want to shout this man out to my left. He got to call a buzzer beater and a walk-off. Mm-hmm. He has the 2 best calls of this season, by the way.
Some are saying.
So if we did an award show, Chase would obviously win an award for call of the season.
We should do that. We'll talk about it after the show.
Comment down below what awards we should give out. Obviously, biggest sell on the broadcast, that'd be going to me. What would be another one?
Biggest moment, biggest game.
Biggest game would be
probably the Garden or the Merrimack game.
It would be MAC semifinal.
That was good. St. Peter's overtime. That was a big one.
I was on play-by-play for a lot of that.
Well, Mr. President.
Yeah.
But even still, to get back on track, talking about Iona here, talking about Iona baseball, I like a lot of what you said. I think they can definitely compete with the rest of these teams here. And I think if there's one thing coming from that Sacred Heart series that I think they need to improve upon to be at that tip-top shape, is just doing the little things right. We saw a lot of throwing over to first, being afraid of the base running from the Pioneers in that last series, and it kind of hurt them. We had some errant throws at first and second base. that allowed for advancement of runners and allowed for big time hits with RISP. And that resulted in getting, a close matchup to start that opening set. End up being tied, like you said, because of Sean Davis's last couple of pitches in that matchup. So that's definitely one thing I'm looking at. And also a lot of close calls at the plate. Really some strong plays from, the outfield assists in those games, from the diving stops for a lot of those players. You've seen some really good stuff both in the infield and outfield. It's just making sure that those little things continue to stay consistent, and some other little parts with base running and overall having a good feel for the field at all times, not allowing for the team to potentially have too many self-inflicted wounds that allow for the opponent to get the overhand. But like you said, this is an opportune time to get a hot streak going, and I think they definitely can with some weaker opponents to close out their season.
I think one other thing to close out Iona baseball you need to watch out for is the injury bugs kind of getting them a little bit as well. Obviously Jordan Overton, who was out last weekend, Aiden Ciprian, who left Friday, which was a very unfortunate moment for him on a hit by pitch, did not return for the weekend. Hopefully he'll be back soon. Same with Jordan. If those guys can get healthy, this Iona team is playoff caliber, and we've witnessed what they can do in some big moments. We saw that. For me, I was able to witness that on a Sunday against Merrimack, a game that Iona were able to play very offensive matchup against a Merrimack team that were swinging the bat well. They were able to go out and grab a very key win. But Iona, they have a couple easier road opponents remaining as well. They're 5-11 on the road. One of the not as strong road records in the league. It's bottom 10%, bottom third of the conference in road record. They obviously have Fairfield. That's not going to be fun. But going to play St. Peter's, going to play Siena, two series that you have to win. This is going to be this has been a very battle-tested Iona team. I'm very intrigued to see how that plays out. You can check out everything. Iona, they are playing on the Peacock Sports Network, I believe, this weekend, which is the equivalent of Iona Insider for St. Peter's. It's the Gales, it's the Peacocks, first game, 3 Eastern today. When we return, we are talking Major League Baseball and some the struggles of our New York Mets. We will be talking all about that and more when we return on WIUR Radio.
This is WIUR Radio.
Hi, I'm Morgan Beastie from the Ionian, and I hope you're enjoying today's show. Are you looking for the latest scoop on campus news, sports, and more? Check out the Ionian, Iona University's very own award-winning student newspaper. We keep you up to date with everything happening on and off campus. Want to know about the big game, the latest campus event? It's all in the Ionian. Join the conversation. Read, write, and get involved. Visit www.theionian.org or pick up a copy around campus. Stay informed, stay connected. Now, back to WIUR, Iona University Radio.
Anyway,
welcome back to the booth review. Awkward pause there for a second. By the way, one thing you want to know about, check out our shout out in the Ionian from the past edition. Is there anything else that we were featured in this past week? Yesterday, were we featured in something?
I was on an episode of We're Going for 3 this week.
Oh, you were? Yes.
You guys should definitely tune into that. Reviewed some Jameli's slices, and you are not expected to see what number 1 is.
We both sold.
I was going to say, you're one to talk about selling.
I know.
Goodness.
But we both sold. And
they actually prefaced the segment by saying, just don't do what Robbie did last week. And I said, I'll try not to.
That's crazy.
But the thing is, then I did.
Yeah.
So But still, it's a great watch. And they're always a great watch throughout the entire show. Definitely We're Going for 3.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Adam, Colin, Nathan, they all do such good work and just keep it so engaging for the fans. It's definitely one of our best shows and absolutely why they are going to be one of the biggest headlines we've got for Radiothon next
They
week.
will be a headliner for Radiothon. I don't know if we will be. Are we a headliner?
We're cool, I guess. you're going to have to find out.
Will we be a headlining show? Because what the plan is, there's going to be 3 headlining shows. One for the morning, one for the early afternoon, and then the late show, we actually know what the headlining show will be for the late segment.
Okay.
Obviously, it's the pre-draft show.
Of course.
Yeah, definitely.
Very.
There's a bunch of
there's just so much to talk about the draft.
Yes, obviously the Jets are going to trade the second pick. We actually do know that a couple of teams might trade back from. I'm not going to mention any names. Tennessee, but
Dexter Lawrence probably going to be on the move soon for the Giants.
Yeah,
Let's see what they could do to get
the Jets might make might actually develop a player.
Well, it's
not going to happen. The last time we had, does everyone remember the last time we had the second pick? Who we selected?
I believe that was Zach Wilson.
My goat. I'm wearing his jersey on
the 21 draft. 22.
Yeah, 21.
Well, yeah.
They're like, it was the last draft I watched in my house. Very weird day.
Sammy Darnold won them out of the first overall pick. So.
When we beat Los Angeles.
Unfortunately, beat the Rams, yeah.
And then we beat the Cleveland Browns.
I think it was one of Jared Goff's last games as a Los Angeles Ram.
Did he even play in that? Yes.
I think he did.
Yeah, because he got destroyed by Quinn Williams.
Stafford and everyone, yeah.
He got destroyed by Quinn Williams.
That team took a crazy turnaround.
Yes, they did.
Anyway, baseball.
But the Jets, they did not turn it around.
No.
Just like the New York Mets, who can't turn it around either.
Yes.
We will begin with the orange and blue, who continue to disappoint. They are 7-12, have a home record of 3-6. A run difference of -14. We've scored 65 runs. That's second to last in the National League, ahead of only the Cincinnati Reds, who are also disappointing. Yet they actually have a winning record. And oh, by the way, the Mets have lost 8 in a row.
Worst losing streak in baseball.
Yeah, not good. Let's break it down by the numbers. They have been injuries, and then there's Francisco Lindor.
Mm-hmm.
There are injuries, and then there's Carson Bench.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are more injuries. And then whatever the hell David Peterson's doing.
Yeah, it's not great. Taking a look at the squad as it is.
It's bad. It's bad. Chad, are we screwed? Chad?
Luckily for us Mets fans, one thing that was a highlight of our week is that all these games started at 10 o'clock. So most fans didn't really have to watch them because they played the Los Angeles Dodgers. Funny thing. Didn't think maybe I just wasn't paying attention. Maybe advertisement wasn't great for the promotion, but Wednesday was an ESPN game with Joe Buck's return to baseball.
Yeah, I found that fascinating.
And really no advertisement about it.
So it's weird because they stopped doing Sunday Night Baseball.
Right,
I know they've done college baseball.
It's Peacock now. NBC
it's on Peacock
baseball
for whatever the hell reason, which I've watched one of them. It's not bad.
They've been solid. Adam Ottavino, surprisingly good sideline reporter.
He's their sideline reporter?
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
Oh, he's just going around saying something in the stands.
Steve Gelb's wannabe. That's a
He
very
wishes.
accurate.
He wishes.
He only can wish. I actually got to meet Steve Gelb. He's a very good dude. But
Solid guy.
hey, it's bad, Chad. We're screwed. Freddie Peralta has been
Minter's on his way back.
Matt.
Let's take a look at some positives first.
Craig Kimbrell's in a bullpen in 2026.
And he almost killed Francisco Alvarez. You see that play? That was not good. That was not good.
That went viral, by the way. Oh yeah, we are employing Tommy Pham in 2026.
Who looks not good. MJ Melendez, though, who got brought up. He was 2 hits in his debut. Don't hate it.
Did he do anything else?
I don't know, but I think he's the only RBI against Shohei Ohtani this year. So that's a stat and a half. Shout out our guy MJ Melendez for roping a double down the right field line.
I did
score.
see that. And Ohtani was like, "What was that?"
MJ Melendez. That's what it was. The answer is yes. No, but to more serious to talk about the rest of this team. Obviously, ever since the Juan Soto injury, this team has just not looked the same. And it can be stated 10 times over how essential he is to the success of this offense and team in general. But it's only when he's missing that you say, wow, this team really needs that leader, not even just in the locker room, just as a presence in the game at all times. You know, he was very solid to start out the year. It's already been a couple of weeks since that injury in the Giants series.
That's crazy,
and it's just felt so different now that you have guys, like you said, Tommy Pham playing more often, Tyrone Taylor playing more often, on top of the fact that a guy like Luis Robert can't be 100% in terms of playing because he's got to stay on a strict regiment to make sure that he stays healthy for the rest of the season as we look towards a potential postseason. Brett Beatty has been trying the outfield. There's some definite lowlights in the past couple of series that you can point to. They've tried a lot to make him like that Jeff McNeil type character, that utility player who can kind of play all over the field. He's not yet so far, but there's definitely time to grow. And even just the rest of these guys, Jorge Polanco, will he ever get that IL stint?
No.
We don't know, but he stays injured and takes really not professional at-bats. Mark Vientos, he's on a cold streak because, of course, he is. Who else is here? Bo Bichette. He's been solid. He's been not the Bo Bichette that we were advertised, but he's definitely gotten more hits than the rest of the lot.
And then there's Marcus Semien.
Marcus Semien can't hit. Not sure how long he could be a second baseman starting on this team as Brendan Nimmo. And I hate to say this, Mets fans, looks really good for the Rangers.
It's so
really
annoying.
good bat in that leadoff position. Get him back to leadoff. That's where he's comfortable.
Yeah,
And
but
that's
like,
what he was
why
doing
did?
so well.
Oh my god,
He's a really consistent bat. Obviously, the DH problems with this team couldn't really have him on the squad.
we really sacrificed.
Jared Young hits the IL stint when he finally started looking like a competent major leaguer. That's unfortunate. And then, what can you say about Francisco Alvarez goes up to the plate and just swings at everything? I think, who was it? I believe it was Alex Vesia in one of these last games, had the 9th inning in what was a 1-run or 2-run game in one of these Dodgers games. But they kept relatively close in all of them. They kept relatively close in those matchups. And one of them, I believe it was the Nolan McLean's outing, which, by the way, if there's one bright spot on this team, Nolan McLean diced up the Dodgers. That is one thing that you can say. Went toe-to-toe with Yoshi Yamamoto and arguably looked like the better pitcher. Obviously, Yamamoto is on a different planet. He is definitely, after Garrett Crochet's last outing, I think we can cement him in that top 3 conversation. He got Skeen, Skubal, and it was kind of between Crochet and Yamamoto. Crochet gave up 10 earned runs against the Twins this week, so
Hey, but we talked about them last week.
Not
They're
looking good for him.
not bad.
Josh Bell is hitting that cold spell after being the leading average guy on that team.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
But even still, back to the Mets, Nolan McLean, fantastic to start out the season. Another gem by him that was just unfortunately wasted by these bats not being awake or alive. And it resulted in this team, they're taking swings early. They're putting the ball in play. They're not doing it well. Vesia for the Dodgers almost had an immaculate inning with no pitches thrown in the zone because the Mets swung at everything. And
it's like me and MLB The Show, lads. Like, what are we doing?
pretty much, you're that bad. No, but the starting rotation
I'm better than you.
has done their
like,
part.
come
I
on.
mean, yeah, I've never played, but the bullpen itself, you got guys like Minter. They'll be coming back soon. That's going to be really important to them. Saw Devin Williams get respectfully blown up by the Dodgers. A Dalton
Good.
Rushing grand slam to end that game on ESPN. And to Devin Williams' credit, he hasn't pitched in like over a week.
Like, what's the
So
deal?
I can't blame him for being cold.
Yeah, by the way, that's a very common theme that we're gonna be talking about today is for closers just not throwing.
I think it's time we have that manager conversation. But Mets fans have wanted to have the manager conversation for a long time. I think after this losing streak, it's really gotten really obvious. Mendoza does not look like he knows what he's doing.
It's like I talked about this. I featured, by the way, on another show this week, one with Johnny Sanguina and Chris Solaro, and we kind of talked about
scoreboard.
Beyond the Scoreboard. Yes,
Give it a watch.
and we kind of talked about this a little bit, and I brought up a good a point that they all agreed with, which was if you don't have, if they're not competitive by Mother's Day, then you need to change something.
Mm-hmm.
That's a trade of someone that's been pretty good to get players that are under more team control. If there's manager change, if you want to sack the GM, do whatever you want. There needs to be something different. And there's so much wrong despite the team having a lot of good players. There is so much wrong.
It's not playing up to that expectation. A couple of guys have.
There's
Robert
no
has
one-
been of a cold spell, but he has been solid this
Yes,
season.
and I love Luis Robert.
Bichetti's up and down.
Bichette's the Marcus Semien trade's like, I'm not over that. And it's been pissing me off. Him, there's a lot of other people that
Bench
just
doesn't look ready. He had a couple of good hits
we
at Dodger Stadium.
sacrificed Brandon Nimmo for a guy who's not ready. What are they doing?
It's just listen.
Like,
I think when it comes down to I think when it comes down to this squad, it's been made pretty clear on Cohen's side and the rest of kind of the powers that be for this Mets team. It's David Stearns' unit, and he is going to lead it. He's going to hire these staff members. He's going to get the players he wants. He's going to make the players leave that he wants to leave. And to his credit, some of those guys, we've talked obviously ad nauseum about Brandon Nimmo already, but Pete Alonso, he has had a really tough April for the Orioles.
Didn't he kill somebody? Like just like destroy one team and then do nothing else?
I'd have to look more into that, but he's had some momentum swings. He did. They had a big comeback against the Diamondbacks where he was the forefront of having a 2-run home run to get them back on top.
That was
He's had some solid home run. His first home run was against Jacob deGrom.
Oh yeah, that's what I was
a
thinking.
few weeks back. That was very funny. But nevertheless, he has really seen a bit of decline in terms of his every at bat having strong swings that are fast, that are making contact, trying to be that singles hitter like he was with the Mets. And that's kind of why they wanted to get rid of him. He's a guy who gets his bread and butter by hitting 40 homers a year. And for some reason, he wants to bat 300. I don't know why he does that, but he does.
He wants to be an all-around talent. Also, Edwin Diaz.
He's unfortunately not. Edwin Diaz did not see him in that Dodger series. Thank the Lords up above that we didn't.
Why didn't that happen? Oh, yeah, because none of the games are competitive.
Because Devin Williams gave up 6 runs in the 8th. That's why he didn't end up coming in. But no, but even still, Edwin Diaz himself, velo's been a little down. He's had a couple of tough. He blew a save against, I believe, the Rangers for the Dodgers.
Yeah,
so
that was good.
He hasn't had his bright spots.
Obviously, that was glorious. By the way, I have had so much fun. Love you, Texas Rangers. Please stop having Brandon Nimmo be good.
Obviously, a lot of copium on our part from these Mets.
Why are there so many Mets in the Rangers? Let's deal with that.
Hello, DeGrom. Travis Jankowski's on that team.
Oh yeah, he's the first base coach.
Shout out former Mets. But even still, coming down to this team as it is, it's rock bottom, I think, pretty comfortably. An 8-game losing streak. It's funnily enough, not their only 8-game losing streak in their last 100 games. They had one last season as well, because that season was terrible. And it feels like nothing's changed. And that kind of gets to the point where you were talking about nothing changes if nothing changes. You got to make a move. I believe it's going to have to come down to the manager spot, because we've seen Stearns get all these guys in there, Willard at the pitching coach, Correa as the bench coach, a couple of hitting guys to try to better that mentality for the team. They haven't looked good. Eric Chavez, maybe he wasn't as bad as his job as we thought last season. But even still, this is a brand new team, and they're just not clicking. We've seen teams have such good momentum to start out this year, like the Pirates and their hot streak they've had recently. The Marlins, that I told you about, look very fun.
They're gonna cool down eventually. They're not gonna be that fun.
The things we tell ourselves. But the Mets, at question, I think this is a team that just needs some life. And some people thought, oh, Tommy Pham, get that kind of guy with a spunk in there. Well, when he's going down on 3 pitches every bat, does not exactly bring the kind of level of intensity that he might have had in 2023. But to close out, because we have another underperforming New York team we have to talk about, to close out for this Mets team before your closing remarks, I think this is a team that definitely I'm not giving up on in April, because it's April, but definitely something needs to be changed. And I think that's going to come down to the manager, and also just need these players to get more acclimated to each other and play at their best abilities when we get guys like Soto back, Jorge Polanco at 100% strength, Jared Young, if he continues to be good, because I can't stress this enough, he was good and then immediately gets hurt. That sucks. And then when you get to the pitching on that, they've been solid. Senga and Holmes had some iffy starts in that last week for sure. Peterson, not sure what's happening there. He had, honestly, for some reason, his best outing was against the Dodgers. He was able to survive well enough until Andy Pajes 3-run homer, but even still kept him in a close game, only 4 runs. And then Peralta and McClain at the top. They are just, they've been everything they've been advertised as. I expect better things to come with these results, and it just needs to come down to that lineup, hitting, and maybe some organizational additions or changes made as well.
Let's go to the Yankees. I was going to say the only team in New York that's actually doing something was the Knicks, but that's a lie. Shout out the Buffalo Sabres for no reason at all. They now have they now do not have the second longest playoff drought in New York. So now
they do not,
because the longest one, actually, I think they had the longest one, and now definitely the longest one now. The New York Jets. It's definitely us now. I hate everything. Why we have to be bad? I'm not saying.
I think it's followed by the Giants now in New York sports.
No.
Or the Nets.
No, they made it with Kevin Durant.
Yeah, but that was already like a handful of years
4 years ago.
When was the last time Giants were in the playoffs?
The same year, I think.
Well, even still, the Jets take that crown.
Yeah, thank you. I know the Islanders probably have the second longest one now.
Man, I can't believe they blew it this year.
Dang it.
Anyway.
Why are all my teams bad?
Well, we do have to talk about one of your teams. And then one of your teams one of the teams in New York that we're actually pretty glad they're bad, because, screw the Yankees. The Yankees.
Yes. We'll keep it quick on them, because there's so many more other teams to talk about. We're actually not even going to do our second break today. The Yankees, underwhelming, 10-9. They actually like to do things called
this division's been terrible.
They like to do something called the score runs. But what they can't do is be in front of the Tampa Bay Rays. What the heck?
Tampa Bay Rays had their number last week.
Yes, they did. Apparently so. The Tampa Bay Rays are good. I'm scared again. Is Shane McClanahan good? Like, so I can justify the point about Shane McClanahan?
He's been all right. I don't think we're
I
going to
can
get
justify my point about Shane McClanahan.
We're not going to get that level of Shane McClanahan that we've seen in years past this year because he's still recovering. But even still,
what is that losing streak? Getting swept almost. They should have been really. They got outplayed by the A's. You get swept by the Rays, and because of Jordan Romano being bad
for 2 games.
I was so sad.
The Angels very much could have had a 4-game sweep against the Bronx
They
Bombers.
Should have had a 4-game sweep
because
against the Bronx.
Because Mike Trout is God. That's why.
MVP Mike Trout 2026.
He's healthy and reminded us all that he was well regarded as one of the best baseball players in our lifetimes, and came back when the stage was biggest in Yankee Stadium against the Bronx Bombers. He showed off, and a little quick shout out here. We're going to go to Gale Zone on IUTV. They're going to be on in a couple of hours, and they're definitely going to have a discussion about this Yankee series. And I think in a series with such strong players for the Yankees, it was Trout that really showed up and made his mark for the Angels to show how strong they've been. I mean, put the beating to multiple relievers. I know Jake Bird got sent down immediately after that game was blown. I believe he got Doval's number, or one of the Angels did. The bullpen has definitely been poor. Mike Trout in this series. He's gotten a lot of players' numbers. Ryan Weathers looks not good. But
how much did they trade for this man? A lot.
It's the Yankees. They usually give up like nothing that ends up mattering. Although they gave up Augustine Marias for the Jazz Chisholm trade. He looks really good for the Marlins. But that's the Marlins. The Angels and the Yankees series was split, but it really showed that this Yankees team might have a pitching and bullpen problem, more specifically, because they could not close out against what's been a hot Angels lineup to start the year. But I mean, there's only so many times you could give, Mike Trout a chance to give up to hit a nuke. Jorge Soler to be absolutely great. Zach Neto, Nolan Shanuel. I mean, it's the Angels at the end of the day. That's not something that should be happening for something if you're the Yankees, one of the, most rich clubs in both history and also, financially, what they've done to put this team together. And some of these guys just have not shown out as of recently. They start a series against the Royals tonight, and they're going up against a guy in Michael Walker that is arguably one of the most underrated, if not the most underrated pitcher in this major league season.
Why can't Cole Reagans be good?
That's a whole different conversation. But even still, with this Yankees team, the pitching just needs to lock in. Kind of the opposite of the Mets here, because the lineup is good. Ben Rice, play more. I know you don't make that decision, but
do it.
Aaron Boone, talk to him. Say, hey man, it's Paul Goldschmidt in the year 2026.
Like, I like them losing. I like them losing.
Who doesn't?
But Ben Rice,
he's so
Rice,
good.
Rice, baby. He's
so
pretty good.
He's batting 327 on the year. He's
like,
so
what
good.
is this? Can we pull up the team numbers?
Yeah,
give me the numbers. Aaron Judge,
still leading home runs. He's the GOAT.
He is pretty good. 8 home runs, 14 RBIs for Judge. He's actually really good. Jazz Chisholm is second in something.
At bats.
Oh, wait, what the hell?
Because what he's got here is...
Oh, he's hitting 179. Perfect.
He's got 8 bags, though. The 50-50 season is still on the line.
He's hitting 179.
See how many home runs he's got there, and that's a goose egg.
He's a 0 WAR. Wow.
But still, I mean, Ben Rice, as we were saying, 5 home runs, 14 RBIs,
Trent Grisham,
14 walks, a base. Trent Grisham, solid. 11 RBIs. The guys in this lineup are doing a solid job, even in the lower spots, like a Caballero, a Grisham.
Why is Caballero better than Jazz?
Jose Caballero is him, dude. Anthony Volpe, stay in the minor leagues. We don't need you.
How is Ahmed Rosario seeing?
Oh, he had a 2-home-run game. And kind of pads
65. He's
hitting
better than Jazz Chisholm.
I mean, I think really the only big blemish on this team is I don't know why they continue to play Randall Grichuk. I don't know why. He's not good. He's batting 0.63. That's not good. Paul Goldschmidt batting 188. Guys that continue to play over better players. That's a management thing for sure. But I think overall this team is far better set than a lot of clubs. And I think they're going to turn around eventually. Just need to stop giving up these losses to these really bad teams like the Rays, who are leading the AL East now. The Angels, who continue to make things competitive in an AL West that we're going to get to in a moment, but they have not been great at that entire conference or division, I should say.
Wow. Yeah, let's go into the standings now because I just saw
Yeah, let's just throw it on in.
Yeah, let's just take a look at what we got. So back to the American League East for about -4 seconds. The Red Sox continue to drive everyone crazy. They have 3 home wins because that makes sense.
Reminder: our top 2 teams in the AL East, respectively,
or
were
Boston
the Red Sox and the Blue Jays,
and Toronto, and they are the bottom 2. So shout out the Red Sox for being last and scoring more runs than the Mets. And Toronto have more runs than the Mets.
This is correct.
Barely.
Not by much.
Yeah, that -25 run difference, though, is screaming at me. But let's go to the Central. Can you zoom in a little bit, Chase? The Tigers are starting to live up to potential. They're 8-1 at home this season. They've won 6 in a row. They've actually looking like they're playing like a team. Unfortunately, 2 road wins does not get you anywhere in the American League. The Twins continue to lead the league. Continue to lead the division in our third in the American League in runs scored.
Somebody explain it to us. What are they doing?
They have the best run difference in the American League, by the way.
How is that possible?
How is Tampa allowed 91 runs in their first? That's a
Good
question.
hitters, yes.
All right, Josh Bell. What do we got? I know they destroyed the Red Sox and the Blue Jays.
They destroyed Crochet. And they beat up on them for the rest of the season.
They swept the Tigers. Wow, they swept 4 against the
Tigers.
Tigers.
They had a 4-game set last week against the Tigers. That's kind of what put the Tigers on a tailspin, but they've been able to turn it around. Guys like Riley Green are starting to hit again for this team.
Yeah.
Cole Keith, my favorite player on the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah.
And,
and the Royals, to continue with the division, the Royals suck, which Cole Reagan's not it.
We bought into them again.
You bought into them.
No. There's a guy with Cole Reagan's on his fantasy team.
Because he's the best player available.
Best player available? I could pull up the draft right now, buddy. The White Sox are bad, though.
But they're looking better.
For sure. They're in the right direction.
They have the second most runs allowed in the American League. Though, the team that's allowed the most runs?
100 is nuts.
The Astros.
Yeah, that team can't pitch.
But they could score.
No, they've been really good. Christian Walker, like I said last week. Jordan Alvarez.
12.
As long as he's healthy.
For reference, they have the best offense in the American League and the worst pitching in the American League.
And the video essays about the 2026 Astros in a couple of years. That's going to be fun.
That's going to be fun. They're 8-12, tied with the freaking Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with this team.
They can only score.
Cal Raleigh, what happened, man?
They have a positive run difference.
J-Rod, he's stopped knowing how to hit.
Why did I have faith in him?
Brendan Donovan, I mean, he's been pretty solid.
Yeah.
Naylor, that big contract. He had a really solid start to the week, but overall the season's been not as great. Some of these younger guys, they're not doing as well. And then the pitchers, I mean, Brian Wu, why you got to give up 3 runs to the Padres this week, man? That's not cool.
Fun fact: the Mariners and the Astros have a combined 2-17 road record this season, as with too many runs allowed. They've also lost a combined 4 straight games. But second in that division, the A's.
You got to talk about the A's.
No.
Fun team.
No.
They can't pitch.
Yes.
But they can hit.
They have better pitching than the Astros.
Yeah, because the Astros lost 3 straight starting pitchers in the middle of innings last week.
Oh yeah,
this team just gets hurt all the time.
Yeah, that was pretty tough.
Tatsuya Imai has gone through 3 translators already. That's weird. I don't know what's going on with. I guess has the Houston Astros ever had a Japanese player come onto their ball club?
Not one.
Yusei Kikuchi was there, but I'm sure he was acclimated enough.
Here's a good question. What do they have more? What does Imai have more of? Wins or translators used?
I believe that's 3-0. So I'm going to go with translators. But even still,
that's low key tough. I feel bad for the man. But the Rangers are good, 7-6 on the road. They're not. That's actually not that horrific. That's actually one of the few teams that are over 500 on the road this season.
Kenzie Gore looks good.
That's scary. To the National League, the Mets continue to be bad. We are last in the American League East because life sucks. Though I was right with Atlanta. I told you they were coming back, and the Nationals
+44 run differential is disgusting.
How are the Nationals third?
Because the Phillies and the Mets. I mean, we talk about the Mets obviously because we're Mets fans.
The Marlins
the
are
Phillies
second
have been
with 9
terrible.
10. Oh my god. You said they were
They
good.
played a good. Who, the Phillies or the Marlins?
The Marlins.
No, I'm saying I'll get to the Marlins. The Phillies, though, have had a terrible start to the year.
They have
Jesus
the worst
Luzardo
run difference in the
can't
National League.
pitch. Oh yeah, no, this team is bad. They lost by like 10 to the Cubs the other day.
Oh no, I know.
And the Cubs are really bad this year. We'll get to the Cubs, but to touch on the Marlins,
They have a better record than the Marlins.
To touch on the Marlins.
Like what?
Eri Perez, you gotta help me out, man. Like I hyped you up so much this year, and you're like not doing good. You know, for well, I'm picking him up for his start on Sunday. Oh, I am getting that acquisition in fantasy.
Tough shit.
Don't snipe him.
Tough for you. I just picked him up.
No. Fine.
Tough.
Fine. If he has a good start, then I still win. So that's still a win for me.
I'm not even playing you.
Even still. Well, hey, your team's getting absolutely blown out. So at least I'm in a close matchup.
Yeah,
not the point, though. Not the point.
That is true.
The Marlins, besides Eri Perez being a really slow starter, Sandy Alcantara has done really good. Max Meyer, he's been fine. The hitting is up and down. Liam Hicks looks like a really solid catcher, first base option. Augustine Ramirez still can't play catcher, but he's there and has a good bat. Still waiting for a guy like Kyle Stowers to come back. Jacob Marcy's finally gotten a little hot. Can't stress this enough. Owen Casey is that guy.
What did he get traded for again?
Edward Cabrera to the Cubs.
Nice.
But
Cubs,
Owen
you could have had him.
Casey, it's been good, man.
He has been pretty
Not the
good.
point.
I love Edward Cabrera, though.
Not the point.
At the end of the day, the National East is a mess.
Correct.
But no one is as bad as the San Francisco Giants, who have 58 runs scored in 19 games. Remember when we said that? Didn't you say they're going to be in the playoffs?
I believe I had them second place. Don't know if they made the playoffs.
No, you had them in your final wildcard spot.
Man, could have chosen the Reds.
Speaking of the Reds,
Let's
go to the Central, where it is an absolute bloodbath. Despite the Cubs being second actually in the division by 1 run in runs scored and having these tied for the best run difference in the National League Central, they are last because that makes sense. But they are only a game and a half out of first. Again, because that makes sense. This is the NL Central at its finest. The Brewers are fourth. What the heck? The Pirates. Okay, we're going to bring up a stat right now that I found earlier today. And I feel like this is the perfect time to say it. So $430 million were given out to 4 players this past week. Let's find the actual numbers. They didn't list the exact players, but I know Kevin McGonigal was featured on this.
Kevin McGonigal was sure on there. Connor Griffin.
It's Kevin McGonigal, Connor Griffin, Colt Emerson, and Cooper Pratt.
He's not even in the majors.
$435.75 million. $435.75 million were given to 4 MLB prospects after playing a combined 22. That's Clayton Kershaw's jersey number. 22 Correct. Games played total. 22. A combined 22.
And none of them are really good.
But they're all young. Kevin McGonigal's great.
Well, yeah, he had a really hot start, slowed down a little bit, got right back to where he's supposed to be for the Tigers. A big piece in them. Connor Griffin,
you figure it out for fantasy, though, please?
Despite the... You don't have Connor Griffin?
McGonigal.
Oh, right. Connor Griffin, despite the Pirates being all good, has not really been in the mix of that.
He's been kind of underwhelming.
But even still, obviously, a teenager. Going to have a lot of time to adapt and be one of the better players in baseball sooner rather than later.
Not worried about
and the other two, I mean, Cole Emerson, he's on the Mariners, right?
Yes.
So we'll see him come up eventually. Going to need to soon with the way the bats are in Seattle. And then I believe the last man was on the Brewers. So
let me double check
that team is like, I think it's Pratt, I believe, is on the Brewers.
Yep, Pratt on the Brewers.
So like
he's getting paid like he's $6.5 million to not play in the majors.
Listen, point being, back to the NL East here, with the team like the Brewers, they just find guys and they do well. They end up being near the top of this division. I don't doubt they're going to find it right back. They're only half a game back. That's just how close the division's been. Tied for first are the Reds and Padres. Those teams aren't good. They're on hot streaks right now. Ellie De La Cruz, he's been pretty good. But the rest of this team kind of can't do anything.
They have 64 runs scored.
This is correct.
How do they have a positive? Oh my God.
The NL Central.
No, I know that.
But even
there's
still,
so many bad numbers I'm seeing on this screen. I'm like confused on how they're 11-8.
Yeah, it's just my brain to
This
look
is like
at.
me playing MLB. This is actually a very accurate representation of me playing MLB The Show, having a negative run difference and being like
it's pretty
11-8.
pretty accurate because you suck. Yeah. The NL West.
Yes. The Dodgers continue to drive everyone
At least
insane.
something's normal.
But the San Diego Padres are finally again living up to
How have they
potential.
won 8 in a row? Mason Miller.
Let's break it down.
Mason Miller, that guy can't give up a hit.
Good. Let's click on their schedule. Let's see who they beat.
It's pretty scary.
The
They're
Padres
beating
are
up-
13-6. They're the current top wild card
I
spot
know
in the
they've been beating
National
up
League.
the Mariners in their last series. Yes,
Yeah, but that's doing nothing. They beat the
the
Rockies and the come on. They beat the Pirates, the Rockies, and the Mariners. Like they got the Angels
Yeah,
next.
the
They're
Red
gonna win
Sox.
11 in a row
Man, this is gonna be a good team.
for like another month, maybe.
Hey, their bullpen is pretty good.
That bullpen is very good. I'm very scared of the Padres.
They
They are
can't-
very good. They are very dominant at home as well. They have, I believe, they have the best home record, second best home record rather, because they've won
Well, they're one
one
game
more
behind.
home game play than the Dodgers. But they've been pretty good.
Correct.
They on the road, they've only played 6 of them, but they're scoring runs plus 21 run difference. They've won 9 of 10, 8 in a row. They're a team that might be really putting it together at the end of the day. I am worried about the Giants, as mentioned, for scoring no runs at all. They've allowed, actually, they have allowed now more runs than the Mets, despite winning their last game and not being losers of 8 in a row. How do we? Oh yeah, we beat the Giants. Thank goodness.
Yes, because the Giants
Are not good.
You're right.
Sorry, Logan Webb.
Yeah.
I had a lot of.
Sorry, Rocky Devers.
Nah, I'm not sorry about that.
Adames.
See, I had faith in Logan Webb to be great.
Yeah.
At one point, while I was a student here, I did pick him to win an NL Cy Young
That's a choice.
because he was like really good one year and then he didn't win it. I'm like, he's going to do it again and be amazing. Yeah, that did not happen.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
Sorry, San Francisco. But when you take a look at the wild card teams, it would be the Reds, the Padres, and I got the Diamondbacks because they have
What
a
are the D-backs?
not as bad of a run difference.
What? Why? Why is this team?
Health.
No, this team is not supposed to be good.
Health.
They can't pitch. How do they win games?
Offense.
Their hitters aren't even that good. Rolando Perdomo has had a terrible start to the year.
Eduardo Rodriguez is good.
E-Rod was pretty good. He has been pretty good.
Yeah.
Ildemaro Vargas is one of the best bats in the game right now.
Corbin Carroll's back.
He's been fine. He torched the Mets and then but everyone does. So, Del Marte
You're
is
not that
slowly going back to being the best second baseman in ball.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
That's annoying.
But even still, when I'm taking a look at these teams, I think similarly as we've mentioned in weeks past, some of the biggest surprises, I think, is the continued slow start for the Mariners. That's one thing I'm continuing to look at. You could also say for the Cubs and Brewers, but again, that division is so tight. And then one of the bright spots as we continue to see success this year, I think I got to go with the Rangers. I think we might have underrated that kind of high-end rotation that they have when they're fully healthy and clicking. And that lineup is doing just enough. Getting a guy like Marcus Semien out of the lineup and bringing in someone like Brandon Nimmo, that's a huge difference. Guys like Jake Berger, he's been hitting well. Seager's a consistent professional. And overall, this is just a team that, gets the job done. And I think that they are definitely going to be now tight in the race with teams like the Mariners already kind of deep in not in a big hole, but still in a hole, nevertheless, in that division.
The Guardians are being the Guardians. That's a team that's impressed me.
Almost threw a no-hitter last night.
They did. And granted, they're 11-9. I had a lot of questions about them going into the season. They play a lot of road games. I think once they start to get home more, they can be a team that heats up, that can really annoy the Tigers again. I think the Twins are going to fall off eventually. They don't have the talent overall to really be.
Have to. Taj Bradley can't be the best pitcher in baseball.
Cy Young Taj Bradley. Wasn't he traded to the Twins?
He was traded from the Rays to them and then traded from the Pirates to the Rays. The rise and fall. And rise again.
Why is
Taj Bradley.
Chris Archer, mini Chris Archer career path? He's what Chris Archer was supposed to be. Again, trade. Well, he did the opposite. He got traded from the Pirates to the Rays.
Right.
So he's Austin Meadows.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
I loved Austin Meadows.
They also traded Tyler Glasnow, but who cares about that?
But yeah, their hand kind of got forced in that, no?
Yeah, I know he's on the Dodgers.
Sorry, Tyler Glasnow. I loved him on Tampa Bay though. But the Guardians are figuring it out. They're 11-9. They've been their road record. Do not be deceived by them being 6-7 on the road. They've played 13 road games. I believe that's the most in the American League, tied with the Rangers.
Rangers have it 14 for the Angels.
14.
7-7.
That's not even a reason. No, we won't question.
They could have had a much better record if Jordan Romano wasn't a bad closer. Or the Yankees just have his number. Probably both.
Yes. But in the National League, a team that's impressing me, St. Louis is decent. That makes me uncomfortable.
Jordan Walker. Second straight week, we got to say.
Amazing.
Is bro here? Has he finally been the guy?
Well, he wasn't there last night. I'll tell you that much.
He got a hit.
Yeah, but
he's not smacking home runs every day, but that wasn't going to happen for the rest of the season. He's still a consistent bat in this lineup, and that is definitely a cornerstone piece that in a Cardinal season where we said, I don't think there was anyone good on this team, we found one, and that's a win if you're Heim Bloom and the Cardinals organization.
Can we pull their stats, please, before we finish
the show? They can't be good.
This is going to be great. I'm very excited.
Was Newbar healthy yet?
No.
Cool.
I don't think so.
That's fun.
It's Jordan Walker.
Ivan
Herrera?
Ivan Herrera has been fine. Alec Burleson.
I like him.
He's a fun little player. Nolan Gorman has
Weatherholt.
Still not going to be good.
Weatherholt taking 227. My God.
That's not great. Mason Wynn.
No.
Still not putting it all together in terms of hitting.
What's the pitching like for them? I know it's been under meh. What do we got? Amon, not be bad. Liberator
has been fine.
McGreevy
got a 2.49, 21 and 2/3.
Go on, McGreevy. That's actually pretty good.
Dustin May
is
surprisingly not, to a shock to absolutely nobody. He's not good.
6.9.
Riley O'Brien, though, really solid closer for this team. Not closing many games, but he's a really solid back end of this bullpen.
I might pick him up over Jordan Romano.
Actually, 5 saves is a decent amount in the majors right now. He's currently on a team.
Who has him?
I think the guy I'm playing this week.
Oh, come on.
I know because I looked and I said, man, that's not cool. Who's out here looking at the Cardinals closer and saying, that's my guy?
Oh, my God.
Somebody. And it's paying off. He hasn't given up a hit run yet.
Why do I have to have Jordan Romano?
So to close out our show, I think we have to say congratulations, Cardinals. You have 2 players that are good on your team.
3. McGreevy.
And McGreevy's been, he's been solid.
He's 2-4.
Yeah, but how long is that going to last? It's only started 2 of those games. Even still.
He's still
qualified. So it's 2 qualified.
He's qualified. He's pitched 21 and 2/3. He's looked great. But he can't strike out anymore. Just like the Cardinal season, where they will completely strike out and miss the playoffs again.
And they lost that one. Yeah, it's fine. And then you beat that's not terrible.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That's the Rays, the early season Rays. So point being,
a lot of teams we talked about could be falling off the face of the earth. Just like our New York Mets have a good chance to
just talk about it next week.
Which will be featured on a Radiothon. That's when our next episode will be. It's a special episode Thursday. Time will be announced early next week. With that is the end of today's edition of the Booth Review. Thank you guys so much, as always, for watching. It's always a pleasure to have you guys along for the ride. We only have a couple more of these left, Chase, and then I'm done with undergrad. I'm done with being president.
And you're done. And then we'll never see you again.
Wrong.
We won't hear your bad ads ever again.
See, I told you they were bad.
No, I'm kidding. They're great. And they're never leaving.
No.
I can promise that to you, but they're never leaving.
Yeah, they'll find a way to get me back on doing an ad. But that's the end of today's edition of the Booth Review. Make sure to like and subscribe to WIUR, the YouTube channel. We're getting trying to get to 1,000 subs by the end of
97.
Or 897. Maybe trying to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. It's a tall task. But with next week being Radiothon, I think you guys can maybe do it. So make sure to hit the like button, subscribe. For Chase Caridi, I'm Robbie Basil saying, see you guys next week for Radiothon. This has been another edition of the Booth Review on WIUR Radio.
Live from New York, this is WIUR Radio.